Welcome everybody to Bugbears and Brews. My name's Brian, and today we're recapping the 18th session of our Tomb of Annihilation campaign. So this one here, I should start off also, I'm going to drink a leftover beer from the weekend that a buddy brought over. This is the Leinenkugel Grapefruit Shandy. I actually was a little bit better than I expected. Kind of reminds me of like a grapefruit-esque IPA, but not nearly as hoppy. So, does the trick. And I didn't have to pay for it. So, all right. So start off with you guys kind of figuring out where you want to go. After a little bit of discussion, you guys decided let's head towards that that standalone over the lava shrine, or you guys suspected as a shrine, and I won't lie, it was a shrine. You guys easily found that out. So you guys headed south. Along the way, you guys ran across a couple very large T-Rex style footprints, kind of matched up to what you saw with the undead T-Rex, but much more deep, indicating that it's probably a living one, and quite a bit larger as well, indicating it's probably larger than the one that you previously faced. But you know, those were going, you were crossing them, so they were heading one direction. You guys were heading south. Those guys were heading west, I think, if I recall. Got to the rift, figured out a way to get across, and you guys essentially tied like 2 ropes together, which I think were your last. I think those are your last ropes, is what we discussed. Maybe Carr might have a rope. I don't know. He was out, and so was Jose playing the Orin. But you guys tossed a grappling hook across, got that pretty secured, tied off all the excess on that side. That way you didn't fall in, because there was 200 feet down into the lava pit. You just didn't want to fall in that. Everybody did really well on their climb checks or athletic checks to get across. Barlow did fantastic. I think he crit one way, and then on the way back, did really well on that one. Let's see here. So Barlow did well. I think the only person that didn't do well on the way there was Navarre. Navarre, walking, had a little bit of bubble gut thanks to all the coconuts he's been drinking. His hands started sweating. He started slipping. He wound up getting about halfway over and slipped over, and then his hands started slipping more and more as Don's feeling check after check after check with Navarre. Eventually, he just says, screw it, and let's go, and flies the rest of the way. Looking at the temple here, it was the only building on this small pedestal type island. Let's see, a couple trees hanging around, a couple bushes. You guys are taking a look. This shrine's a little bit different. It doesn't have a front door, and as you guys go to walk into it or walk by it, you notice there's some statues of serpents all over the place. And as you guys are checking those out, trying to figure out what like the hidden secret message was to help navigate this temple, you guys were attacked by a gaggle of serpents, is what we'll call them. I think I use gaggle a lot when describing up mounts. I could be wrong. But yeah, they wound up attacking, and I kind of hemmed and hawed that because I added more than what the module called for, just to kind of make it a little bit more of a threatening combat versus the walk in the park one. I kind of hemmed and hawed, so I'm going to take them away. I'm going to, in the end, I left it with the total of 6 versus the 4 that the module called for. They wound up hitting really hard. I think part of the issue is they had a surprise round on you guys, because they had an absolutely fantastic stealth roll. Goose stealth check, whatever you want to call it. And you guys didn't exactly have stellar rolls to perceive stuff. So these guys had a stealth, the advantage round. And I think I got 2 crits, which when they did 2d6, and then if they move at least 10 feet, they do an additional 2d6, so that's 4d6, and critting, that's 8d6. It did quite a bit of damage to some folks, from what I recall. I think Sai took 1 crit, but his crit was relatively low. It was like 11 on 1 damage, and then like 15 on the other. I don't recall that being really high. Obrecht took a pretty good one, though, from what I recall. But in the end, once you guys got through that initial round, you ended them pretty quickly. River was able to tell you those are Jukuli, which are super large, super camouflagey, uh, aggressive snakes that don't use poison. They just use their size. Not I don't. Well, I guess maybe it would say they're constrictors. If they're not using poison, most snakes are either poison or constrictor. So yeah, maybe they're constrictor. They didn't have the typical constrict move that you find in the constrictor snakes, but they didn't have poison either that you find with the venomous snakes. Navigating this shrine. So this shrine's clue was thief deceived. A thief deceived leads to death. The truth is in the serpent's mouth, I believe, is what it was. And it led like 15 feet into this main room. The hallway leading into the main room, the 15-feet hallway, had all these arrow slits, and you guys look and you can see, they're cobwebbed over. We played a couple jokes about cleaning the slit with the cobwebs and that kind of stuff there because, we're just a bunch of inner 12-year-old boys. And one room beyond the arrow slits had a full-size Jukuli statue. The other side had a full-size Jukuli statue, but with its head down on the floor, knocked off. And then going into this center area, there are these 12 statues sitting around with their bows out. These statues are of Amuan warriors. They have bows, and they look like they're pulling back, but there's no arrow in between there. There's a nice mural on the floor with a Jukuli fighting some sort of monkey monster. And then there's this pedestal in the center with a stone on top of it, a puzzle cube. There we go, with a puzzle cube on top of it. You guys said, that's a trap. Let's not mess with it. Open up the side doors. Eventually found the secrets for the side doors. Both of those had puzzle cubes as well. One puzzle cube was on the ground. One puzzle cube was in the statue's mouth. And you guys talked yourselves out of a decision like 5 times. It was like an hour and a half. Maybe not an hour and a half. It was probably about an hour altogether, you guys deciding which cube to take. And it was just really comical just to hear you guys like almost get to the like, oh, we're gonna do this, and then no. Maybe an hour for the whole. Yeah, let's say an hour for the whole whole shrine. An hour of discussing that's probably a little much. Yeah, probably about an hour for the shrine. That could, when you initially walked in and you had like, this is what we're doing. We're taking this one, and then immediately you guys talked yourselves out of it. Going from that immediate decision to talking guys in circles and keep on talking yourselves out of things was quite a bit long process, but it was funny as hell. Eventually, you guys did decide to take the one that, thanks to some, what's it called? Detect magic. You found that one of these put off abjuration aura, one put off conjuration, I think it was, and one put off alteration. And then all the other ones you had abjuration aura. So you said, you know what, let's go ahead and take the one with the abjuration aura. You heard this loud rumbling noise. You're like, oh crap, we screwed up. But it was actually the correct one. And this was getting nightfall now. So you guys said, you know what, let's go ahead and rest here. We're on this isolated island. We're not going to get a whole lot of trouble here, I don't think. So you guys rested. You heard some loud T-Rex noises overnight. But that's all you guys encountered over there. So got your long rest in. Everybody's feeling nice, refreshed. One of the loud rumbling noise was actually part of looked like it was a bridge at one point. It extended maybe 3 feet from your pedestal island to cross the bridge. Ooh, forgive me, man, sorry. To cross the opening lava pit type deal. So that way you guys wouldn't have to climb back across. But it only extended 3 feet. So either it's old, broken, stuck, who knows, but it didn't extend all the way. So you guys got to climb back across. And started off with Obrecht going across. Obrecht's climbing across, gets all the way across, and gets to the end about to dismount, and he looks, and the rope is absolutely frayed. It's got like one little strand, so he starts shouting that, hey, this thing is, frayed. Don't do it. We got to reset it. Don't come across. I'm amazed that I even made it. And it really came down to, I believe, Obrecht had a really nice athletics check, and so he's moving nice and gently, not fraying, not causing a lot of movement or springing in that rope. And as he's shouting this, he gets buzzed with an arrow in the ass by our hunter friend, the tabaxi that's kind of started messing with you guys. Nailed you right in the butt. He starts rolling. I say he. Obrecht starts looking around, trying to identify where the hell his hunter is. He sees some movement off in the trees. So Obrecht is like, let me get to a wall as quick as I can. And he's rolling, ducking, diving, jiving. And he rolls through this absolutely monstrous T-Rex footprint. And as he's leaning against the wall, he gets hit with the smell of like absolutely acrid piss smell. And it dawns on him that this hunter just sprayed this whole area with piss. And Obrecht has been shouting back to everybody to not come over here. So making lots of noise. This area's got this very pheromone type situation going. And you guys hear T-Rex coming. Oddly enough, I figured everybody else was going to leave Obrecht to hang out and hide on his own. Obrecht did run off into the woods versus into some buildings. And Sai came across. And Sai came across and Orc came across. And Orc's coming across and he's getting there towards the end. And so first before this, you guys did cut the rope. You threw it across. There were some shenanigans with, is the rope long enough? Now that you guys cut a little bit of it, but in the end, you guys made the rope successfully there. That all took place while Obrecht was trying to find a spot to run into in the woods and get safe from the hunter guy and that kind of stuff there. Obrecht did not mention the hunter, though, at the time of all this. You guys just heard the T-Rex, and that was about it. Like I said, Sai went across, Oric went across, and Oric got to the edge of the cliff on the now, like the main side where this T-Rex is coming. And this T-Rex is like 20 feet from where he is, and he decides to get up. And now he's the only tasty morsel inside of this T-Rex that is in this pheromone-infused area. And that leads to combat. This is not a normal T-Rex, though, because as its first move, when it lets out this big old nasty T-Rex shout at it, all sorts of hornets come from its mouth and start attacking you guys. When this broke out, Obrecht came out from hiding. And then Sai came out from trying to find Obrecht, and you guys started beating up on the T-Rex. Some of the mages cast, let's see here. Barlow cast one cantrip and then wound up shooting the T-Rex with a fireball. Navarre tried illusionary terrain, I think, or something like that. One of the illusionary spells. But you guys started unleashing in this thing, and I was really glad to see you guys were taking it as a serious encounter versus just relying just on cantrips. The fighters, you guys were using all your resources and that kind of stuff there. The T-Rex did almost one-shot Anthony playing Sai. I think he did like 37 out of Sai's 39 hit points or something like that in one hit. Really dangerous. But you guys wound up getting this T-Rex down enough where it wanted to run away. So you got to remember, part of this thing is smart. It has life preservation tactics. So when it first encountered the group, it was one person. So it was like, I see a tasty morsel. Let me eat that thing. And then all of a sudden there's now 4 people fighting, or 3 people fighting it at foot, 2 people launching all these spells at this thing. And you guys are thinking, all right, you kind of have the feeling it's going to bolt and try to hide. And instead of running away, it does a Misty Step, which blew your minds. So you guys didn't get any attack for opportunities. It appeared several feet away, and then it bolted into the woods. And then further into Omu. You guys did not give chase. You found a place to hide. You took a short rest because a couple people took some pretty big hits there between the arrow and then the the tail swipe and the swarm and the bite. But you guys hid, regained some stuff, and you decide let's go back on the other side of Omu, the other side of the river, and try to check out this other area that we were investigating, or that we want to investigate, that you guys think is a shrine. So you guys are heading that way, and you guys are going along with fresh T-Rex tracks. So you believe you are going the way of the T-Rex. You don't know where that asshole hunter went. You make it to the other side. You're still following those kind of T-Rex tracks. And you guys, we wrapped up with you guys finding this abandoned wagon that has dead flower petals all around the base of it, and then it has a garland of these very fresh, very vibrant, some toxic, some not flowers. That's where we wrapped up. I had a lot of fun. I really liked this kind of trap I did with the hunter. Once again, I'm really disappointed what Wizards did with this hunter. It's a really cool kind of story behind. Like, he's out there to try to take on whatever he can. He's at the end of his lifespan. He just wants to go out and go out and mess stuff up. And they kind of made him a pussy, I think. I'm having a lot of fun with him. A lot of, I think, as like a hunter, he's got a lot of trap and a lot of survival, tactics. And I will say, you guys did kind of come to the conclusion that this guy only attacks you guys. I shouldn't say only attacks you, but he tries to isolate. You guys did come to that conclusion that he does try to isolate you guys, either drawing you away with some diversion, such as the river being tied up diversion, or purposely get you guys separated. You only been attacked twice, no, 3 times now, 3 times, because one of the times was when you guys were crossing the river, and you guys were doing that in a very staggered, spread out fashion there. So yeah, 3 times, and all those strikes have been pretty single interactions. Like, he attacks once or twice and he bolts. So other thing, have a level 7 prepared. I doubt we're getting to level 7, but depending on what you do, how far you move, we might get there. Very doubtful, but I'd rather have it prepared than not. So have a level 7 prepared. You guys are getting through these shrines at a pretty decent pace, minus that one that took all night because of the silly combats. But you guys are getting through the shrines through a decent pace. We're through 5 out of 9, so we have 4 remaining. Depending on what you do, we might get there. So talk to you later, guys. I'm going to go finish this beer, and I'm actually going to go play some more Monster Hunter.